ready to get this show on the road.
The catchphrase of all catchphrases. Gentlemen, and Central New Yorkers, live stream listeners, Facebook viewers, right now, this is perhaps our best debate of the show. Gentlemen, I propose this question to both of you, Rob and Leel. Which quarterback is the biggest disappointment this season thus far? Our options are as follows, folks. Mitch Trubisky, Sam Darnold, or Baker Mayfield. Who's starting it off?
I'm going to start it off.
All right,
I'm going to get into this huddle right now because I'm feeling the momentum, and I got to get into the huddle right now.
Here it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, both of these quarterbacks are well-deserved for this nominee. So congratulations to all three of these guys. You are nominated. All right? Now, with that being said, I got to go with Baker Mayfield. I have to go with Baker Mayfield. This is off a season where Baker Mayfield turned heads. In the NFL Top 100, the brother was, I believe, 59-ish, 58-ish, around that, echelon. But either way, that was still an incredible achievement, knowing that you were in the top 60 NFL players in your rookie year when you were taken number 1 in the draft. And you threw for 3,700 yards, almost 4,000 yards, 27 touchdowns to go with that, right? But there's a lot of expectations for this Browns team, as we just talked about earlier in the show, and they haven't lived up to it. And a lot of it has to deal with Baker Mayfield's lackluster performance. Now, as I go through the stats, Baker Mayfield this season has more interceptions at 12 than he does touchdowns at 7. So the brother is turning the ball over at a high rate. You cannot have more interceptions than you do touchdowns. It cannot happen, brother. No. He had 14 interceptions in all last year. So he's about to eclipse his record, and we're halfway through the season, right? Last year, he had 27 touchdowns. Yes, his completion percentage decreased from 63.8 to 58.7. So in almost all statistical categories, Baker Mayfield has regressed, and his team has regressed. His play has regressed, and they are 2-6. I gotta go with Baker Mayfield. He's my most disappointing quarterback in all.
Rob, what do you have to say?
I gotta get in there right now. I gotta talk about my man Sam Darnold here, and to be fair, he's not my man. He shouldn't be anybody's man at this point. I don't know who's still believing in this man.
I still believe in him.
I respect you for that, Kenny C, but I'm going to tell you why.
I still believe in him.
I'll tell you why, for this season anyway, you should not believe to see anything this season. He was hurt. He was out with mono for a month. For 4 or 5 weeks he was out, I believe. He's out with mono. His first game of the season was fine against the Bills, nothing crazy. The team struggled mightily without him there. Didn't have a win. Even with him in the first game against the Bills. He comes back against the Cowboys and has his best game of the season at that point, and
one of his best games of his career, you can say.
338 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. That is solid. Any QB would take that unless your name is Russell Wilson at this point in the season, correct? That's a pretty good game, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys say it's a pretty decent game.
That's a pretty decent game.
So he comes in, and now people think, oh, maybe the Jets will turn it around. Darnold's back. He's here. We're ready to go. He's going to run this for us. We're going to get our team back together. And then the ghosts. Gentlemen, the ghosts.
And the black cat.
He comes in.
Can't forget about the black cat.
He comes in against the Patriots, 86 yards, 4 interceptions. Absolutely dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. And he hasn't been better since then. Since the game against the Cowboys, 3 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Absolutely terrible. Cannot happen. It should not happen. And it's happening. You see it every game. Last game, he's just dropping fumbles. He's not ready for snaps. He's turning the ball over like crazy. You lose to the Dolphins. You can't handle the Dolphins' defense. Like, I know his line's not good, but man, the Dolphins' defense is the Dolphins' defense at the end of the day. So, he's been terrible. He's been absolutely awful. And the only bright light for Darnold is that it's his second year. He's a young guy. He's 22 years old. So he has only room to grow from here. But with Adam Gase at the helm of this Jets team and the cast he has around him, he's only going to look worse. And he's not going to be able to grow as a player the way he needs to with this kind of team. He's been extremely disappointing. For a lot of the Central New Yorkers out there, I'm sure, any of you Jets fans out there, he's been rough.
Now let me jump in here and go with my pick. As a Packers fan, I get to watch this guy at least twice a year for the past 2 seasons. And that's Mitch Trubisky. This man for me has by far been the biggest disappointment, not only for NFL fans that, maybe like this guy, but Chicago Bears fans and their entire franchise. This man has 1,217 yards with just 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions through all 8 weeks of this season. I mean, you look at this loss to the Eagles on this past weekend. Yes, the Bears defense this entire season as a whole has looked lackluster, and that elite number 1 defense in the league that, we saw last year, it's looked like it's been years since that was a good team with the way they've played. This defense has been terrible. However, in this game, the defense held their own. Early in the first half, they kept it close. And ultimately, this L comes down to who? Who else? Mitch Trubisky. Mitch and the offense, their absence in games has been disgusting. I mean, in the past games that Mitch and the offense have played in, they've looked like a varsity high school offense compared to the NFL defenses that they've played against. Mitch in this game had just 10 passes total, 4 quarters of football, 10 passes with 125 yards through the air, and half of them came from Taylor Gabriel, their wide receiver, on I think it was like a 51-yard pass on one play. So that's his entire sum of the offense right there. Even Mitch recognizes his mistakes. He says, quote, "I'm just going to look at myself and see where I can put the ball in different places on the film and come back and try to improve." But the fact is, that's been the story of this man's career for the past 2 seasons. He's an inaccurate passer. He proved it at the Combine. I don't know why they took him 2nd overall in the 2017 draft. When, Patrick Mahomes, have you guys heard of that man?
I definitely heard of that man.
I heard of him once or twice.
I don't know what the hell the Bears were thinking in taking Mitch Trubisky with the way he played in the Combine. He could not throw the short pass. He can barely throw the medium pass. He definitely couldn't throw the long ball. He's inaccurate. You looked at how he's played in the past. Mitch had a chance to win the game against the Chargers in the week before. He overthrows Tyler Gabriel. That game ends on 4th down. Game over. Week 3, he threw a pick at the end of the game against the Redskins. Cornerback Josh Norman ends the game on a pass intended for Allen Robinson. I don't know where the hell he saw Allen Robinson open on that play. So we've seen time and time again, this man has been a letdown.
And that's why you're wrong.
Nah, he's been disgusting.
Because even though everything that you just said was totally 100% correct, the fact of the matter is, the fact that we don't know why he was taking number 2, the fact that he struggles, the fact that he cannot make open down the field throws, he cannot throw the ball down the field, is why I had no expectations for him. Which means I'm not disappointed because I never had no expectations for the brother. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm still disappointed because he led them to the playoffs last year.
That is true.
Even with the elite defense,
that is true.
They still were able to make the playoffs.
But the Packers wasn't that good. Aaron Rodgers struggled last year, so that's the Packers out of the equation. The Lions wasn't as good as the Lions are this year.
Vikings were still pretty decent.
The Vikings, they couldn't win on the road in a lot of those hostile environments. They struggled last year. They underperformed. So they kind of had a little easier path to get to the playoffs than they do this year, and their defense was good. But as we looked at Baker Mayfield, my gosh, he won Rookie of the Year. So you go from winning Rookie of the Year to people questioning your quarterback abilities.
But I still rock with Mitch being the most disappointing because they didn't make the playoffs last year. While there was hope for the Browns, they didn't make the playoffs. The Bears made the playoffs, and as a Bears fan, you're thinking, all right, nothing's going to change next season. We're still going to have the best defense in the league. Yes, Mitch is inaccurate, but he had a much better season than he had this season. And now they're not making the playoffs. All hopes are over. They're in last place in the NFC North. They're not going to make it. And Nagy and the Bears, Coach Nagy and the Bears, they were very patient with Mitch. They were still rocking with this man for the most of this entire season. They put Chase Daniels in a couple times. The head scratcher there is, why the hell isn't Daniels still in? Because they still have hope for Mitch. it's time to give that up. There's no hope.
I mean,
He's a disappointment.
I think either way, Chase Daniels, Mitchell Trubisky is not going to work. They should have made a trade at the deadline. Everybody was saying that they should have.
Yeah.
I just think Baker Mayfield, all right, the way how he was able to perform as good as he did, and having a better team this year. You know, having more pieces. You get Greedy Williams at the draft. You get OBJ there, another extra weapon for him to throw to. And you just underperform like that.
That's definitely a disappointment. But I think, you know, like we ranted on before, that comes with the entire Browns team and that terrible offensive line. Freddie Kitchens, my man, you should maybe coach high school football because you're not capable for the Browns.